family, welcome back to my channel. So we're gonna be cooking a really nice spaghetti dinner today. We're gonna start off with our garlic knots. Okay, for this recipe I'm using bread flour. It's okay if you want to use all-purpose flour, you can. It's just that your dough is gonna be a little bit softer, and I like mine to be a little bit more chewy. Okay, so that's why I'm using bread flour, but it's totally fine to use all-purpose flour. So for this recipe I'm adding sugar, salt, I'm adding yeast, I'm adding oil, I'm adding some garlic powder as well, okay, and some warm water. I'm gonna go ahead, give that a good mix. Usually good practice, before you add any wet ingredient, dump your dry ingredients together, give it a good mix, then you go ahead and add your wet ingredients. Okay, that way all your ingredients will actually mix well together. Okay, so go ahead, give it a good mix. If you do have a stand mixer, please feel free to use it. You can use it. For me, I choose to use my hand. I do have a stand mixer though. I choose not to use it because, you know, with all the cleanups and all, I'm trying to make it less of a hassle for me with cleanup. So go ahead and mix your dough until you form a ball like that, okay? And then after that, you go ahead, cover it, put it in a warm location and let it rise until it's double in size for about an hour. I usually let mine sit for an hour. Okay, so now we're gonna get started on the spaghetti sauce. For the sauce, you can use whatever you want for it: green, red, bell pepper, yellow, whatever works for you. For me, this time I choose to use green because that's all I have. Okay, so I use green, I use my tomato and onion. Okay, so most of these ingredients that I'm using are straight from my garden, except for the onions. My onions are not ready yet, so obviously I'm using store-bought. Okay, but if you don't have a garden like me, obviously go ahead and use store-bought. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, but for me today with this dinner, most of it is from my garden. Okay, and usually what I tell people too is, you know, bargain shop. There's nothing wrong with that. Shop around, make sure you find, you know, cheaper ingredients and then use them. So I did drain my meat off camera, but I did take out some fat. So right now I'm adding oil, I'm adding complete seasoning, I'm adding some Maggi cube and my cayenne pepper. Not too much because you don't want it to be spicy. Now I just added my tomato, onion, and green bell pepper. Now I'm adding about half a cup of water. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's hot or cold water, just add half a cup of water. Okay, so now I'm giving it a good mix. Make sure that everything is well combined. Cover it, you know, let it boil, let it cook for a little bit. Come back and check it because you don't want it to burn. You want everything to be on point. Okay, so at this point you can go ahead now and taste it. For taste, whatever it's lacking, you can go ahead and add. So now I'm starting my spaghetti. Okay, get you a decent sized spot because you don't want to break the spaghetti. I'm adding my meatball. So also with meatballs, you know, you can make your own and put it in the freezer. You know, you don't have to be buying from the store all the time. So back to my spaghetti. So in the spaghetti water, as you can see, I'm laying it whole. I added salt and butter already to that. You know, I added butter because I don't want it to stick together. So now back to our garlic knots. Okay, so after an hour, make sure you punch out the excess air. You know, make sure you get you a clean surface, flour it out because you don't want your dough to stick. Okay, once you do that, go ahead and knead your dough a little bit, maybe about 3 to 5 minutes, or until your hands get tired. I would say I did mine for like at least 3 minutes. Form a nice ball. Get you a dough scraper, whatever you can use to cut your dough. In my case, I have a dough scraper, so I'm using a dough scraper. So also you can cut your pieces as big or as small as you want. Okay, for me, I cut them as small as possible because let me tell you, these kids, they are in love with my garlic knots. It flies off the plate. So I try to cut it small so I can have enough for everybody to have, you know, at least a second. So that's why you see it looking small, okay? That's the reason, because the kids go crazy. And I usually double my recipe, but for this I did not. You know, I don't want them to eat too much. So once I cut it the size that I want, I go ahead and I roll it out, okay? Roll it out to, you know, as skinny as you want it, and then you fold it in whatever way you desire to fold it. Remember, it's your kitchen, your family, then you know what they like, so you do it the way that works for you, okay? You don't have to follow my way or anybody else's way. Find a way that works for you. When I started making garlic knot, let me tell you, I didn't know left from right, but I figured it out, okay? And this is what works for me, and this way is what I've been using ever since. So you go ahead, work it out, and find the way that works for you. And if you want to learn to fold it the way that I'm folding it, just let me know. I'll do a little tutorial, maybe a 5-minute tutorial, and post it on, okay? So you can see how I fold mine. But don't be afraid to try, you know? Try and fail. That's the best teacher. And that's what I did until, you know, now I can roll it and, you know, knot it real good. So as you can see, I'm putting it out right now to bake, okay? But before I do, I'm gonna do my butter wash. In that butter wash, I also have fresh garlic in there. Also, I did that off camera. I'm gonna try to make sure to get as much as I can for you guys, so you guys can see. But you know, your girl was in a hurry, all these kids running behind me, so I was trying to make sure I do it as fast as possible. So now I'm gonna go ahead and rub that butter garlic before I put it into the little oven, okay? Also, you can add basil. It will make it smell amazing, and it will make it look so good. But you know, your girl was in a hurry, so I didn't have time to run back to the garden to pick some basil, because I do grow basil as well. So I just like, okay, whatever, next time. So now we're gonna make the Caesar salad. Oh my goodness, let me tell you, this Caesar salad is so simple. It's so simple to make, but let me tell you, it will be a hit every single time you make it, okay? So I usually just use romaine lettuce, chop it up. I get myself some croutons at Walmart. It's about, I think, $1.68, and I usually use that bag twice, so there's a decent amount in there. And then I use some cheese, and then the Caesar salad dressing. Go ahead and give it a good mix, okay? This salad, let me tell you, it will not disappoint you. Your family will love it. It's simple, but oh my God, it's so good. So now, woo, this is what everything looks like. Let me tell you, this is what it came out to be. The kids loved it. Loved it.